Are live.
Woohoo.
Says we are streaming Dungeons and Dragons.
Does it say that?
Yeah.
Let me change. I mean,
Can
Hey,
you
this
imagine?
is how we do it, right? Like this is
Yeah,
how you
yeah.
get views.
I do have a friend who tricked people into like we're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and they took out Dungeon World, and they
Nice.
just never corrected.
How do I change this? I don't actually know how to change it. I mean, maybe I'll just leave it like. No, I'm kidding. I shouldn't do that. Yo, Daniel, help. While I figured this out. Hi everyone. Welcome to the stream of not Dungeons and Dragons, but it's instead Balikbayan, Into the Dark. And we have Jammi here, who is the creator. Yo, Daniel. I don't know how to change it, so okay, I'll message. So we have Jammi here, who is the creator of this game. It's they will do all of the description and introduction of the game in a way that I can't do it justice. But yeah, this is a crew of 5 plus Jammi, and yeah, I'm really excited. Jammi, why don't you like introduce yourself to the viewers?
Hi everybody, I'm Jamie. I use they them pronouns, and I like making games. So, uh, I like making games a lot. I used to come out with 2 to 3 small games a month. I have slowed down now. So in the past year, I've been working on bigger projects, and one of them is working on Balikbayan. So it's currently in beta, but even the current version is super playable. But I'm super excited because everyone here has super secret access to the absolute latest version that's not yet available on itch.io. So, but yeah, that's basically me. I just love cyberpunk so much, and I'll talk a bit about Balikbayan when we get right into it. But I'd love to hear about everybody else first.
Yeah, I'll go next. Hi everyone. I'm Agatha, and I use she/her pronouns. I am usually on the wrap up with my co-hosts Daniel and Steve, where we talk about the latest news and topics in tabletop role playing games, but also everything else. Like we talk about community, we talk about representation, we talk about culture, all of these things. The wrap up Fridays at 7 p.m. I also write for games, and I do cultural consultation and sensitivity reading, and that's me. Let's go to my left and go to Connie.
Okay, great. Hey everyone, my name's Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. When I'm not here, you can find me GMing and being the executive producer behind Transplanar RPG, which is an all transgender, people of color led, 100% homebrew, Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition live stream actual play campaign set in an original non colonial anti Orientalist world. And episode 5 of Arc 2 is actually coming out this Saturday at 3 p.m. US Central Time on our Twitch, Transplanar RPG. I think we're in the chat, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm very excited to be here. I've not played this game before, not used half of the engine before, so I'm so excited to be here and joined with so many amazing creatives and players. And with that, that is my introduction. I'm all done.
Sweet, and let's go to you, Ting.
Hi, I'm Ting. These he, him pronouns. Uh, game designer and occasional streamer. On Tuesdays, I play in the Risk campaign on Nerds with Dice. Yep, and that's me.
Awesome, and let's go to Leandro.
Hi, my name is Leandro, UCM pronouns. I'm a Filipino Irish person who is in Dublin right now. Don't ask what time it is, because it's hideous. I play games mostly. I played a lot of games with Jamie over at the Gauntlet. I played with Agatha quite a bit, all over the place, including Gauntlet and on Story Brewers and all that. stuff. I have. That's all I do. I don't even have any other presents other than my Twitter, I guess. I just play games, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, even during this beastly time.
And I'm so happy to have you on. This has been a part of my secret plan all along, which is to get all the people onto Asians Represent stuff. And last but not least, John.
Hello, I'm John, or I am also on Twitter. I use he, they pronouns. You can find me yelling about either Westerns, gun monks, or apparently now, like, the fact that I hate screenwriting because it makes me want to write a book, and I hate novel writing because it makes me want to write a screenplay. It's just a horrible Ouroboros loop. I play in a campaign on Thursdays over at Unmade Gaming called Entanglement, which uses the Expanse RPG, along with Nomadic, Unmade, Noir Enigma, and Sombrero. And the four of us just are the most dysfunctional family on the planet. Like, it's like four people who would really never want to be near each other. But you can shove them into tin cans in space, and it works out great. Other than that, I don't do anything right now, but I've got some stuff coming up. So maybe on this channel, maybe in the future. Who knows? I'm excited. So
I love Agatha's face, like
Yeah.
secrets.
Yeah. There are always secrets going on around me.
Secrets. It's not that secret. But,
Oh.
yeah, no, it
Except
was.
for you.
I was gonna run something for the lunar stream, but that got pushed back. So
right,
we're gonna see
true.
that off in Asian month. So I'm very excited for that.
True.
Cool. That's
Awesome.
that's me.
So Jammi, tell us about Balikbayan, this game that I have been hyping to play since I first heard about it, basically.
So, Balikbayan is a game, first and foremost, it owes a lot to the belonging outside belonging system. It's also called No Dice, No Masters. This was first developed by Avery Alder and Benjamin Rosenbaum for Dream Askew and Dream Apart. And it's a really interesting system because instead of dice, you have tokens. There's like a exchange of tokens, right? You place your characters into vulnerable situations or play into certain themes in your playbook, and then you earn tokens that way, and then you can spend those tokens to do like stronger moves, right? So it's a very narrative experience. It's a lot of fun. It's open to interpretation, and so I first created Balikbayan Returning Home because I really love cyberpunk. But playing Shadowrun is like taking a math test a lot of the time. I remember playing with my partner, and because of his augments, he would take like 4 extra turns, and we would just watch him roll like 20 dice or something for like half an hour. But anyway, I just love the melding of cyberpunk and the supernatural and magic, and I wanted to just make my own version that was really just it at first. But Balikbayan has really grown into something that's super special to me, and I'm really glad it's resonating with people. But basically, the idea is it centers Filipino folklore and Filipino mythology. So each of the playbooks are named after what's recognizable to a lot of Filipinos: the Tikbalang, the Diwata, the Aswang, among others. We'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, basically, the idea is, if I had to summarize it, we are runaway elementals. We used to be beings of magic. We used to be immortal, and we've lived for generations and centuries. But we've been enslaved by the CORP. We'll get into that in a bit when we go over the introduction. And our magic is fading, and we've run away from the CORP to the city. We've been in the city for a short while. We've managed to make one part of it home for us, but we have to figure out how are we going to bring about the rebirth of magic? How are we going to connect to the mysterious heart of the city? And how are we going to keep outrunning the CORP while we do it, right? So, but yeah, and I think to get into it, so I put together a character keeper, which is just, you know, a fancy way of saying a Google sheet with all the stuff we need for the game. And I'd love it if we took turns reading the introduction, just so that, you know, we can get a vibe for the game. So I'll start with the first box. I'll go ahead and read it, and then I guess we'll go in the same order as introductions, just so people don't get shocked. Like, oh, it's me next, right? So, it'll be me, Agatha, Connie, and then it was Tink,
Clockwise.
right?
Yeah. And then clockwise
Okay,
after that.
that's right. Then Leandro and John. Okay. Cool. All right, so I'll go ahead and start. It's been a long time since we've been home. The last time we were here, Earth still had real trees and grass. Animals roamed in shrinking forests. The sky was blue, vast, and bright behind the wires. Half of the population hadn't been affected by natural disasters.
The last time we were here, there were so many more of us. Elementals, beings made of the strange stuff between magic and nature, reality and fantasy, hope and fear, the supernatural. We inspired legends, myths, the stories humans told to scare one another into behaving. We were all of that.
A long time ago, the humans built machines that could see us, sense us, and more importantly, contain us, enslave us. We were magic. We were power. We fueled their dreams, their desires. We reshaped reality for them. At first, we did it out of love. But when the love faded, we realized we didn't have a choice. The freedom we had was long gone.
They changed us, all of us, to something like a machine that dreams of magic. That's what we are now. Inside us is a string held tight, on the verge of breaking, between machine and magic.
We escaped the colonies, banded together. We made it back home. The cost was high, but we made it home. The journey was perilous. The journey demanded sacrifice. We made it home. It had to be all worth it.
Oh, John, you're still muted.
Nailed it. But now our old masters are after us, and they refuse to let us go. They're willing to tear apart our home, what's left of it, to bring us back. But no, we're not going back. We're never going back. This is our home, and we fight. We have to destroy them before they destroy us. We don't have any other choice. What will that destruction look like? We don't know. Yet.
Will we be able to outrun our masters and those who hunt us down? Can we use our magic to bring about the rebirth of the city and all elementals? Will this be our reckoning or our homecoming? That's what we play to find out. So, welcome to Balikbayan, returning home. So, Balikbayan is a Tagalog word. It literally means balik is to return and bayan is country. So, really, it's just Balikbayan, if I'm going to be honest about the title. But so the idea is we have our city and we're going to do what we can. So let's start with picking out playbooks. So I know I'm so glad folks are excited about the playbooks. So I'll run through them. I'll give a brief description of each one first, and then we'll take turns reading like the little description underneath the name. But basically, so we have I can count, right? 6 playbooks. So the first one is the Tikbalang, which is inspired by shamanism and animism, which used to be the main way that my Filipino ancestors connected to the divine, basically. So the Tigbalang is mainly a shapeshifter. An original. I'm gonna say like this is not necessary to play the game, but I just love telling the story. So originally, the Tigbalang, what they're known for here locally is their anthropomorphic horses with heads that are like horses. They're known for their speed, but I thought it'd be cool if, as a Tikbalang, you could change into any anthropomorphic mythic creature as you like. And the next one is the Dewata. And so the Dewata is known to be, well, our colonizers will say that they're fairy-like, but our original text will say they're godlike. So I think they're somewhere in between, quite quite possibly. So the Dewata here, they are just pure elemental energy. They're connected to the elements like fire, wind, water, and earth. And so they're known for their it's a playbook that plays around with the idea of collateral damage. Like you're very powerful, but it's very easy for you to leave behind collateral damage in your wake. And then the next playbook is the Saint. So Catholicism is very important to the Philippines. It's completely replaced whatever beliefs we originally had before we were colonized by the Spanish for like 300 years. But it's such an important part of our culture. And while the Saint normally worships or connects to the one God, the Saint here connects to all the little gods, the gods that remain in the city. So playing the Saint, I recommend if you like the idea of you and me like coming up with little gods together, like the little god of puddles or the little god of lies or the little god of so on and so forth. And aside from that, we have the Aswang, which is my personal favorite because it's the saddest, most dangerous character. So the Aswang is many things in its original folklore, but it's usually like a being of like terror, and something that like hunts, and so the thing with the Aswang is this is a playbook where it's very easy to hurt and to kill, but it's very hard to do anything else. So you'll struggle with your emotions, but there's a cool ability where you can turn someone else into an Aswang if you like. Also, no big deal. So, and this one's based on the real myth and legend. Like they'll ask you to like swallow a black chick in order to turn you into a Aswang. It's pretty cool. And then next we have the Santelmo, which is, I'm gonna be honest, I thought I need to put a hacker in the game, but this is supernatural, so I'll make them hack ghosts instead of, because ghosts have information, right? I mean, it's just logical. So the Santelmo is also like an information seeker, like the Tikbalang is, but they do it through talking to ghosts. Anyway, this is the Leandro playbook. Like Leandro played the Santelmo very well. Santelmo, Leandro's very good at playing sad ghost people. But okay, I'm done throwing Leandro under the bus. So aside from that, the original Santelmo is actually just like a spirit fire that sort of leads people to their deaths. So that's the original idea. And then lastly is the Duende. The Duende is the most practical playbook. This is a playbook that's fun if you like to create things or create machines or fix things or unfix things. Maybe work on things to the point where something disastrous happens. But the Duende are, I think, like the most common bit of folklore that we talk about here locally, because like you'll just talk to the average Filipino family and they'll be like, oh yeah, we have a duende in our house that one of us can see, and they take care of the house and the family. They're also color coded here apparently, but anyway, so that's a duende. But yeah, so I think let's get into what it's. Is there anything that's calling out to anyone at this point that they're super like, I absolutely have to play this playbook? I'm going to put Agatha on the spot and ask Agatha if there's like.
Okay, I'm automatically very drawn to the sad and the sad ones. So I'm looking at either the Aswang or the Santelmo. But I wanted to see what Leandro wanted, because far be it from me to take your sad characters away from you.
I believe so this is why I got invited onto an Asians Represent stream to be put on blast for a whole different audience.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I love you.
Mm-hmm. I love you, Leandro.
No one else is gonna get this treatment. Gosh, because I'd already played this game before. I played the Santa Elmo, so I wasn't gonna play that. I play a lot of games. Don't make that face, Agatha. So I was happy to go last. I can go with especially if people haven't played this game before, you should have a pick. I'm good with whatever is like that leftovers. So there'll be 2 leftovers anyway. So
That's true. That's true. Damn, you were supposed to help me make a decision.
Okay, we can go down the line. No worries. Yeah. So, Connie, which one are you like really drawn to?
Yeah, I'm really attracted to the Aswang as well, and the Duwata. I'm really into characters that have a lot of power and destroy things, and have to grapple with the consequences. Because I feel like as a player, I'm very much like an instigator, and I feel like those playbooks would allow me to do that. But I mean, all of these look really cool. Like the freaking like Tikbalang with like the horse god. Hell yeah, that's so cool. An anthropomorphic horse. I've never thought of anything like that before, and that's also really cool to me. I think the playbooks that I kind of want to stay away from, just because I feel like I've played characters similar to those before recently, would be the Saint, I think, and the Santelmo. But other than that, like I can see myself like playing any of these. I'd be happy with any of these.
Cool. Awesome. I like that. Yeah, and then Ting, which one are you like keen on?
Oh, they all look so good. I can't decide. Stuff.
I'll make a decision.
I might just roll like a 1d6 and just go with that.
I'll play the Santelmo. So that'll
Ooh,
be me.
I like it. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. And then John, what were you
Uh,
drawn to?
so like again, like right, all of these are so like fucking cool. I would play every one of these in a heartbeat, and I can't. We can't do that. We can't just play every character type on this stream. That's gonna take 5 ever. So I think I'm really interested in. I was really interested in either the Saint or the Santelmo, and I will happily take the Saint because that seems to be one that people aren't really focusing on. So I'll happily just like pick that out of the pool and be done with it.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Like
I look
coming up
forward
with
to...
coming up with tiny gods for things. It's just so cool.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Make tiny
So,
gods for the most esoteric shit. That's the idea.
yeah. Woohoo. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, and then so I feel like we're settling on Agatha getting the Santelmo, and then our Saint, and so yeah, I guess Connie, between the Dewata and the Aswang, I guess like maybe you can take a look at the elemental magic, which one seems more fun for you, because the Dewata is like basically Avatar, like basically
Extremely angry avatar.
yeah.
The question is, do I want to go like Avatar or like
Yeah,
evil monster blood, like emo goth
exactly.
bitch?
Yeah, because
Like,
that's exactly the dichotomy between those two.
honestly, right now I'm kind of drawn more to the
I feel like Agatha is practicing for their Santelmo, you know, hacking stuff. Okay, so and Daniel is also like being the ghost that's helping out Agatha. So
Okay. Just to recap real quick, because I think everyone couldn't hear like the last 5 or 10 minutes or so, just from the amount of static, which is a lot. We've just been picking playbooks and sort of deciding who's playing what, and I think maybe the easiest way to do that would just go around and then see, like just everyone tell the playbook they have if we've picked them all. I think.
yeah, absolutely. I think this is a good opportunity for everybody to read out the description that they have. So, so we can start with Leandro. So Leandro, if you could please read the Tikbalang description, just that little box underneath the name.
Yeah, so for the Tikbalang, generations ago, all animals of the earth died out. You carry the Earth's memories of them, hollow magic that gives you their strength, agility, speed, abilities, and form. As a Tikbalang, you can access these memories and become any anthropomorphic version of these animals. That's a lot. All these animals, huh? Okay.
All of them, and you can combine them in any way you like. I've had
Oh my
people
God.
play large cats. I've had people play many-legged tigers. So have fun with it for sure. And then Ting is playing the Dewata. So Ting, if you could read the description for the Dewata, please.
Generations ago, the planet's elements became cruel, devastating the planet. You carried the purest form of these elements: fire, wind, water, and earth. As a Dewata, you can access these memories and command the elements, and bend them to your will, vision, and desire. Yeah.
Awesome. And then let's see. Hi. Oh yeah, our saint, played by John. So go ahead and read the saint for us, please.
Generations ago, humans fought wars over gods and worship. You carry the remnants of that faith, the power of prayer. As a saint, you can access these histories and beseech the little gods, the forgotten gods that haunt our city.
And Connie, I'm so excited for you to read this song.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Generations ago, humans feared the dark and what stalked them. You carry the remnants of that fear, humanity's desire to be consumed. As an Aswang, you can access these memories and use blood and despair as your weapon.
Awesome. And I'll read, while Agatha's being a real life Santelmo, I will read out the Santelmo description. Generations ago, humans despaired over death. You carry the remnants of that despair and humanity's desire to reconnect to those lost to death. As a Santelmo, you can connect to these memories and access almost any information, even the ghost of the wisdom left behind. Okay, so yeah, let's see. I think I'll just briefly describe what goes into card gen. But we'll check in with Agatha and everyone else in a bit. So basically, what goes into card gen is you just get to pick from a list. If you feel like picking something or making something new, because like you can always just make something up, or you can tweak something as you like. But basically, the main choices we make is you choose a name. This helps you decide on a name. It's not a name per se, but at least because I know names are the hardest thing. And then the next interesting choice is your human form and your true form. So there's a way that we look as humans, but when we take on our true form, when our elemental magic shows, and that's up to us, like how that manifests. Like, is it every single time we use magic, or is it when we lose control and then this comes out, right? But basically, you don't want to have too many eyes on you when you take on your true form. But yeah, and then next is what you hope for. So this is like, this part of the playbook is, it's up to you if this aligns with the rebellion, if this aligns with the group or not, or if this is something that's like deeply personal, right? So it's a push and pull kind of thing that speaks to what's important to your character. And who you are bonded to creates NPCs that you get to interact with that also help further define your character. Like, for example, the Aswang has choices between, let's say, a journalist who knows a terrible secret, or an android that was once a human you killed, so on and so forth. So like this helps fill out the city. And then the last one we'll do later once we've created characters, but it's a question that you're going to ask each other, basically. So, for example, in the Tikbalang's case, you see echoes of this person in the spirit realm. Their digital reflections contradict who they are in the physical world. So it's up to Leandro if that person is the saint, or the Swang, or the Dewata, or the Santelmo, and then they'll choose one of the questions to ask them. Yeah, so any questions so far about Cargen and the flow of it? Okay, cool.
Not
So,
yet.
Oh, yeah, but I'm here for any questions that that you may have. I'll give everyone a few minutes. So, chat. This is also a good time if you want to like grab a drink or something, or head to the bathroom. But we'll be here like talk about the game, or I'll be here fielding questions.
Jammy, I just want to say these are all so freaking cool. I'm so excited for character generation. I'm like looking throughout these options and I'm like, can I be like all three? Like, can I pick like all of them?
Also, I had one person who played the swamp who was like, "What is wrong with these true forms, Jammy?" I'm like, "You don't like blood? You don't like gore?" I mean, understandable. I get it. But
Do you want us to fill these out on the dock, or like just straight down, or?
Oh yeah, on the dock. Yeah.
Okay,
the
cool.
dock. The dock is for you to like edit with. It's completely yours.
So I think we fixed it.
Oh my gosh.
Question mark.
Oh my gosh.
Professional streamers, everybody.
Thanks everyone for your patience.
Oh lordy.
No worries. Oh my gosh, totally cool.
Oh.
I will draw inspiration from these sounds that were coming from Agatha for the game.
Please don't.
It was so
Like to start that right now.
legit.
Okay, so I did not hear anything that was going on.
No worries, Agatha. So besides, this is a good review. So basically, we're picking out stuff for the character. Ooh, I see that you're already making choices. So just to reiterate the important parts, there's a difference between your human form and true form, and it's up to us to decide how that true form manifests itself. Like this has just happened when our magic goes into when we use our elemental magic, or is it something that happens that we can't always control? But the idea is, if people catch us right in our true form, it's not a good thing. It means that it'll get back to the corp somehow, or right, because the corp is constantly looking for us. And what you hope for is something that you can decide if it aligns with the rebellion, if it aligns with what we need to do in order to take down the corp, or if it's like a personal thing, right? That's moving you as a character.
Right.
And then when you choose who you're bonded to, you give me more NPCs to play out and populate the city with. So yeah, like whoever you're excited to. So when you create the NPC, like you could decide like what they look like and whatever, and beautifully craft them, and then give me that gift.
Cool.
To play them out for you, or you can just say I have no idea. So Jammy, feel free. That's also totally cool.
I am very much like eyes emoji at what everyone's putting in.
I know.
I know.
I'm also just scrolling to the side now.
Looking.
Everything is spoopy. It's very good, folks.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things of playing Belonging Inside Belonging online, is you get to see what's coming together.
So where are we?
Thank you for this gift of an ex-lover. I can't wait.
Yes, I was like, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's do it. I'm all in.
Slam the drama button. Just slam it over and over.
Mhm.
So are we supposed to put in the name of the NPCs somewhere, or no?
Ooh, okay. So there's an NPC tab, right? But no pressure to come up with the names right now if you don't have them yet. But at least you can put in the details, like just the the main description of the NPC you have. But that there's no rush to do that right now. We can work on that in a bit, or even after the stream. No worries.
Cool.
I always have an NPC tab because I'm like a pinata of NPCs. You just hit me slightly and NPCs will come out. So
That's hysterical.
Yeah. Ooh, I see our characters forming.
Oh my gosh, these leers are so good. I'm so excited to do all of these things with everyone else's characters.
Jamie, I think you have some leftover notes from a different game. Scroll all the way down.
Oh, thanks.
Ooh,
Which
ooh.
game is this? Oh, yeah. From my last. Thank you so much. Yeah, I like I like run Balikbayan every few. I think there was a time last year when I had 4 games of Balikbayan in 1 month, and I was like, okay, wait, I have to. Which city are we in? Yeah, thanks, Leandro. I got it. Very cool. All right. So, do we feel ready to introduce our characters?
The only thing I'm missing is a name. That's
Oh yeah, names are super hard.
Names are tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Ooh. Look at Leandro, already has a name for the character. Such a pro.
That's kind of the thing. That's good.
I love you, Leandro.
We'll see where we are at the end of the month.
Ooh. Okay, I need names that refer to a ghost story. Can chat help me? Just like you helped me with my sound.
Yeah, what's one of our favorite ghost stories?
Because I don't actually know ghost stories, but I want to be named after a ghost story. John, are you speaking? Because you're muted.
I'm playing with something.
Ooh, ah.
I have voice mod, and so I'm enjoying myself a little bit.
Oh.
Awesome.
Yeah. I do have that. I should install it.
Tricky part is a name that's a pretty adjective plus a forgotten god. I'm like, cool. What's a pretty adjective? How do I what?
Or we can just stick with the forgotten god if you like. But yeah, I feel you.
What about gorgeous as an adjective?
I feel like that's more a pretentious adjective than it is anything. It's kind of tricky, right? Rocking that fine line is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Akita, how are you feeling about the ghost story name?
I got nothing.
No worries, it's okay. Good, we're good. Let's see. I'm trying to think of I'm actually drawn to how different like Singaporean and Filipino ghost stories are because I also grew up in Singapore. I'm a third culture kid, and like in Singapore, the ghost stories, at least when I was growing up, I don't know what they're like now, but when I was growing up, they were so mundane. They were just like, you come across this woman and she's just counting each of her hairs. And you're like, okay, and then that's it. She just sits there counting
Just
her hair.
powerful, like, energy. That's it. That's the whole ghost
Yeah.
story.
Most, you know, that's exactly it. Most Singaporean ghost stories are just, like there's this idea like when you bury someone, you're supposed to like put them in this like white sack, right? And you have to like right before you bury them, you're supposed to like open one end so the soul can like be released.
Oh.
And so there's a ghost story of like people who forget to open the sack, and so they haunt people by jumping around inside a white sack, you know. And but you can't understand what they're saying because they're muffled in the. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like, is this supposed to be, you know, compared to like, wow, I mean, like Filipino ghost stories are so hardcore. Like, they're just like really intense, really really good stuff. So it's just very funny to me.
Okay, I have a name.
Ooh, nice. Ooh, I like. Okay. Yeah, I feel like we have enough to like start introductions, and then, you know, if we want to like put in a name later or change, we can totally do that. I think we'll do introductions, and then we'll take our first break, right? Cool. So let's start with Leandro. Tell us about Ismeria.
Yeah. So Ismeria uses any and all pronouns. He's a tikbalang, which is, you know, he is of the earth and has all the memories of, you know, the memories of the earth and all the animals that came with it. They come with many nicknames, none of which I've written out, which I'll do that during the break. Probably it's along the lines of Ismeria of the such and such. I think that's one of them. There's like a lot of them.
Nice.
Ismeria of the cold shores. Ismeria of the word dank came to mind. I don't think I want to go with that. Yeah. So the human form is I picked layers of hollow screens featuring animal parts that hide my face. Very specifically, there's that Keanu Reeves movie, Scanner Darkly, that had these like face scrambling technology where it just keeps shifting what their face looks like. Except that for Keanu Reeves, those different human faces. This is like all different animal faces. And it's not flat. So if like a snout of like a giraffe pops up and then immediately it's replaced by like anteaters, but it's got the eyes of a koala, and it keeps shifting again and again, you know. That's kind of like the vibe. But their true form is a collection of stolen dark matter and running lightning. So i.e. nothing that looks human. They've kind of copy pasted a lot of other earthly creatures onto their human form to, like, you know, so that their true form of just pure potential isn't like obvious. They're kind of like fuel for the memories that they keep with them. They hope to reunite with a family member who escaped to the city. They're out there. I think they're probably like, you know, also kind of like probably like a kind of tikbalang, but they stick to more. They love being a cat. But they're out. But the problem is they're a cat. It's hard to find in the city. They're out there somewhere. If I can't find them, it means they're doing a good job of hiding, as they should. And who am I bonded to? I don't have NPCs yet, so I just picked the prompts that I like, which is a holo artist elemental disguised as a human, and a machinist who helped us disconnect from the mainframe. So this is where I'm bonded to at the moment.
Nice. Awesome. Okay, and then we'll come back for what connects you. But yeah, cool. All right, and then we'll continue in character keeper order. So next, let's hear about our Dewata. So Ting, could you tell us about Christen the Everlasting?
Yeah, so I chose the name Christen the Everlasting name that sounds like a flower or force of nature. They use they them pronouns. Their human form, something gentle but with hard edges. So I was picturing like a silhouette of a human, and what people see is if you know what an auto stereogram is, it's just that, and from different angles, people see different depending on the angle, different elements that they focus, and then the true form, four distinct beings that move as one, each embodying an element.
Awesome.
So what I hope for, revive and rebuild dying forest, and who you are bonded to, the last guardian of the forest, and a sympathetic corpus 5.
Ooh, nice. Very, very cool. So I want to ask, because your true form is 4 distinct beings, do they have like one mind, or are they like 4 separate minds, or something in between?
Yeah, one mind.
Ooh, very cool, very cool. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, and then yeah, I think that's gonna be very cool to play with. I'm super excited about this, especially with the forest and the last guardian of the forest. I think that melds really beautifully. So, but yeah, and then next, let's hear about Xander, our saint. So, John, can you tell us about Xander?
I can. First off, any players from the campaign I run? Yes, Josh, I stole your name. It's a good name, and I couldn't think of one. It's mine now. So Xander is. So I'm gonna go through these real quick, just because I think it's fun to talk about like the prompts and the sort of we win them. Xander is a name that means nothing. It's a name that just is chosen at random, and that's what they go by. But it stands for anything because it means nothing. There's no identity attached to it. Their human form is sharply dressed. I don't think it's fancy so much as it is neat, kind of almost supernaturally so. But their hair seems to move as if they were underwater, sort of with a life of its own. And then because I am extra and I will delete prompts and be like, these are really nice prompts. No! I instead went with their true form is just themselves, with light bursting through cracks in their skin, and when they speak, it comes out in echoes and dissonant voices. So what they hope to do is to stoke the fires of faith and hope in the city, in a place where faith is in short supply. Who they're bonded to is a little god that reincarnated as a human, I believe. I'm going to say probably after they lost their believers is probably where I'm thinking this is going.
Nice, nice.
And then a bubbly sex worker who helps the marginalized. And then, yeah. So we're coming back to what connects us afterwards, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's everything.
Awesome. Nice. I love it. So, for a moment, when your voice mod came on, I thought, Agatha?
No.
Good.
No.
So good. Thank you, Agatha, for the inspiration. And then, look at this name. Connie, I'd love you to tell me about Lash.
Yes, the name, I'm actually still not sure if I want Lash to be Lash, Electo, Hecuba. I'm not sure. I'm bouncing through several different ones. But for now, let's call him Lash. So that's the name that sounds intimidating. Human form, I think they are beautiful in a very carefully crafted way. Like, they put on their skin every day, metaphorically and maybe literally speaking. They wear like the best clothes. They have the best augmentations. Like, they eat the best food. Like, they just like to live like a life of luxury, and they like to look glamorous and put together and attractive. So that's how they present themselves, human form. Their hair's always gelled up. They're always like dressed to the nines, even if there's no place to go, especially if there's no place to go. Their true form, however, stands in stark contrast to their human form. They're dark wood and blackened wire, dripping blood and gore, truly hideous. I don't even think it's like a person. I think it looks like a building or some sort of construct when they go too far and their true form comes out. Sort of think like Howl's Moving Castle a little bit. But it's it's nice. Always like mixed with Akira when he's like monstrous. It's just like flesh and it's oozing and it's puss and it's disgusting and it will consume you. And I think the more Lash eats, like the bigger their true form gets. And it's very, very, very hard for them to control themselves when they're not human anymore. And what they hope for is to rewrite their painful memories and replace them. It was a hard drive between this one and fall in love for the first time. So maybe a little bit of both.
I can do that for you. Don't worry, I got you.
But yeah, I think Lash comes from pain and trauma and blood and death, and that is all she knows. And she doesn't want that anymore. She wants to be the glitzy kind of himbo-y, bembo-y, like just pretty boy that everyone thinks they are when they first meet them. They don't want anything deeper. And yeah, who she is bonded to, a journalist who knows a terrible secret. So Jammi, there's that knife for you. And an ex-lover who refused to become a swan like me. So that's a second knife for you. And obviously I think Lash definitely feels very strongly about both of those things. So I'm very excited to play her.
I'm already putting on a bandolier for all the knives everyone's going to give me. So thank you so much for this gift. Beautiful. Perfect. And of course, we come to our Santelmo. So Agatha, tell us about Mary.
Yeah, Mary. I chose Mary as a name that sounds sad because of many reasons, I guess. I don't know. It's such a. It seems like it represents so much of people, just generations of women just taking things. I don't know. So that's why it's sad for me. My human form, or the human form for Mary, is something that bears someone else's nostalgia and rose-tinted memories, and I think it is it's actually what she wears is a jacket, and to different people they look like the jacket of their loved ones, or it resembles the clothing. Like one specific, when you think of your grandma or grandpa or something, and then there's always that specific silhouette of what they wear, and that is what it looks like to people. And the true form is a white hot body licked by blue flames ever moving. Just to really go with that St. Elmo's fire kind of vibe. Yeah. What she hopes for is to lay to rest violent spirits that haunt the living, and I really wanted there to be unrest already in the story in this way. So that is what motivates her right now. Who she's bonded to, one of them also is a private detective tracking down a serial killer. So I really just want violence in the city.
We're gonna get it.
Yeah, from maybe people and from maybe supernatural things, and then also another one that Mary's bonded to is a human that tried to save her from death.
Oh, nice. I like this. And then so. Do you have an idea, like if they were, because it said tried to, so does that mean that you were claimed by death for a while, or,
Yeah, I think I don't know if Mary is actually technically alive anymore, or would necessarily be counted as in the land of the living. Or she certainly does not have she's not legally alive anymore.
I can't help but think, like, as you walk and like have this jacket and these bits of clothing that are catch onto people's memories. I can't help but think sometimes people walk through you because you're like not completely alive anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, super cool. I like this a lot. Super evocative. And Mary actually makes a lot of sense to me. Um, Another thing is, like, I found out last year that a lot of our gods' names were replaced by the Spanish to be Maria something. So that's why most of our gods have, like, Maria this, Maria that, because they just, to be named after Mama Mary, basically. And we don't have access to those original names anymore because most of it was just, spoken and not written down. So I feel like it makes sense. But yeah, okay, so those are our characters. I'm super excited. So let's go ahead and take our 10-minute break and then we'll get to building our haven together. So I'm super excited about that. Hey everybody, are we back? Are we good? Can everybody hear us? Hello.
You should. Very
Professional
unsure.
streaming.
No worries. Okay, so before we get into the rest of it, just as a reminder, so we are using safety tools and we can use them at any time, even now during character and setting generation and stuff. So we are using a combination of lines and veils, script change, and an open door policy. Of course, we can always use the X card, just like we X carded Agatha's voice that we'll draw inspiration from. So, but yeah, absolutely valid. We also checked in about how everyone feels about romances for their characters. Yeah, so I'm glad that we're taking care of each other and we're using safety tools to foster trust and respect among everybody here so we can have the maximum amount of fun. So on that note, I will plunge us into our setting elements. So we have 3 to look at. If we check out the setting elements tab, they are the enslaved, the corp, and our magic. So this is stuff that I'm going to be using from my end as a GM, but I want everyone to have access to it because we'll all be working together to pick 2 desires of each one and then sort of like create notes about it. So we're really tailoring the world, the city, Balikbayan to each group, right? So let's see, if I could have, I'd really love it if John could read the enslaved description for us.
Sure. Okay. Okay, cool. I'm looking at the right one. We were one of the lucky few who escaped. We left behind many of us. Some of the enslaved wanted to stay, choosing the cold machines over the heart of our home. Some of them helped us escape, and were punished dearly for it. What makes them different from us, you ask? Well, not very much. Not very much at all. They are as powerful, dangerous, and as heartbroken as we are.
So the enslaved are basically the tool of the corp. The corp has many ways of hunting us down, but one of those tools is the enslaved, or what we used to be, basically. So this means that we'll come across other Tikbalang, Santelmos, and Aswang, and so on. And we're probably connected to some of them, actually. So with that in mind, we choose... I should also talk about lures. So lures are kind of like, if you act towards these things, you like pick up a token. So the tour lures for the enslaved are, if you seek out one of the enslaved, or if you describe, like, if I introduce an enslaved character and you tell me, actually, Jammi, they're my ex. Basically, if you tell me how you are intimately connected, they don't all have to be exes, but how you're intimately connected, you also gain a token, right? So basically, that means we build into the game ways for you to collect daggers and getting tokens in exchange for it. So giving me all these knives. So with that in mind, though, let's choose 2 desires, right? And we want to see how they interplay with each other. So these are our choices, but of course we can make up something new. And then, so I'm laughing at the chat. It's quite possible that we're in like several relationships. So our two desires could be from freedom from pain, vengeance to become new masters, to be reborn, recreate the truth, atonement, break a prophecy, or the illusion of power. Right. So what do we think like we're drawn to? What did the enslaved want? Right. Um, but yeah, does anyone have an idea? Though I'm happy to call someone
I
and
really
ask
like I really like the idea of or I like the become new masters because it's often like that.
Yeah, yeah, you understand like perfectly. It's very Asian post-colonial.
True.
Actually, I was eyeing that one too, Agatha. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Sad, yay.
Size in Asian. But, it's
Yep.
we all understand that. Okay, very cool, very cool. And then how about for our second desire? Which one would we like to interplay against that one?
Ooh. Freedom from pain, though.
Mm.
Because they're like, and like specifically in the way that like people will all sometimes frame the argument, like, why do you want control is difficult and responsibility is hard? Just turn the cogs and you never have to worry about what your purpose is, kind of thing. I feel like that might be fun to play with.
Yeah, how does everyone else feel about that?
Yeah.
Do you think maybe that this like new hierarchy they wish to do, like, because they want to become new masters, right? Is one where they think they're like, we're gonna do it better. We're not gonna treat you like shit, like we were, and like maybe, but they're still gonna, master's tool is master's house, right? They're still gonna like. I think maybe their goal is to release people from pain, but maybe that's it. They don't see how that kind of like short-sighted goal can create new cycles of violence. I'm not sure. I'm just spitballing here.
No, that's super good stuff. Yeah. Maybe the enslaved are all like, we don't understand this freedom that you wish for. It's just more pain. It's just a different kind of pain. Right? We're here to free you from it. Yeah. Very cool stuff. Yeah, I'm super into both. And then just to give you an idea of the GM moves that I'll be using. So for the enslaved, embody the corpse desire for bloody retribution, wield magic like a weapon, intimidate, terrify, stun, or entice, kill or capture someone, and hold someone to a painful memory or obligation. So I can also damage a part of the city while searching for the elementals, basically. So this is just stuff that, just so you can see what's going on behind the curtain. Okay, I'm also going to take notes. Become new masters to free from pain while ignoring the cycles of violence. Yeah, I feel like that's I deeply feel that as a Filipino in the Philippines. I think we can all relate here.
Just a smidge, just a teeny bit.
Yeah. There was one time I was playing with a group where they were all white and they couldn't quite wrap their head around it. I was like, oh, like I felt that distance, Yeah, but as we were playing, they got it, so that was cool. All right, and then the next one is the CORP, our previous masters. So if I could ask Leandra to read this one for us, please.
I'm that drink perfectly.
I didn't do that on purpose.
That's fine. The corporations have owned us, body and soul, for countless generations. No one remembers how the humans first discovered the true nature of our magic, or how they built the machines to harness it. No one remembers why we agreed to it. We only remember that when we said no more, that they activated the enslavement protocols. We are an investment, and they want to continue to profit from our pain and hardship. The CORP is petty and incredibly deadly.
Okay, excellent. And our lure is when someone draws the attention of the CORP or uncovers its secrets, y'all gain a token, right? And so our desire is to choose from. So this is what the CORP is ultimately after, right? So our choices are immortality for the elite, create unending war, fulfill a prophecy, recover the scion, kill the truth forever, make elementals obsolete, or rewrite magic's laws. Right. So which one immediately makes us go, ooh?
Immortality for
Immortality.
Oh my god, yeah. We're like on the same page.
It's mildly topical.
So just a little bit,
Yeah.
Oh my god, these are also fucking interesting.
I really-
Jammy. Why do we only get two?
I really like rewrite magic's laws. This kind of like we get control over everything, including we rewrite the rules. That kind of like
Yeah.
Yeah, that and make elementals obsolete.
I think you
that,
could
yeah.
do both of those, right? Like, because if you rewrite laws of magic so that you can take magic from the elementals and take it for yourself, then you do both of those at the same time. So I think maybe like both of them.
But which one do we want to hone in on? Because I do like both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like make elementals obsolete because that feels like the goal. Well,
Mm.
or actually, that depends on what the goal is. Like, oh, making us obsolete, that's just that's a nice, like, side bonus that we get.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
That's a good
yeah.
point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
What's the means and what's the end?
Right, because like they're forced to use us because they don't have any other access to magic
Mm-hmm.
in the same way, right? So maybe they're trying to rewrite magic's law so they can wield that magic, right? What do you think about that?
I really like
Oh.
that.
What's really great too is because you can parallel it with Become New Masters, because the enslaved are doing the same thing but differently. And so the human, like if you have like the Corp trying to, all of those things tying each other to become new masters, to freedom from pain, immortality for the elite, and to make elementals obsolete by becoming the new ones. That's really fun. I like that a lot.
Very cool, very cool. All right, awesome. I'm super happy about that. Yeah, and then next we move on to our magic, right? Oh, I should describe the GM moves. I forgot to say. So the GM moves for the Corp are give cruel ultimatums from a place of power, treat people like, okay, a lot of this is going to feel very real. I'm just going to say it right now. Anyway, treat people like they are products, entice someone with a dangerous offer, overreact with violence and fury, and crush the vulnerable. They can also reclaim a part of the city for profit or spite, depending on how they're feeling. So, and last but not least, our magic. So this is what powers the machines that we are. And so I really want to stress how magic and technology and machine and spells, they're not separate things. They're all like interwoven at this point. So it's up to you as a player when you describe the magic that you use, how much of it sounds like tech, how much of it sounds like magic, but it's essentially like a symbiosis, a combination of the two, right? This is mostly in response to Chatteron because I didn't like how there was such a strong divide between right. So anyway, that's that. So if I could have Agatha, if you could read our magic for us, please, that would be super cool.
Yeah, our magic. What powers the machines we are? Long ago, there may have been a boundary that existed between machine and magic. But now it is magic that powers the machines. Machines that make magic more powerful. This symbiosis runs every planet and colony in our galaxy. Our fated magic is unpredictable, and the ghosts in our machines demand life. But until we can bring about the rebirth of magic, this is all we have to protect us, our city, and our future. As we use the last of our magic, we burn bright and hot, knowing we bring ourselves closer to losing magic forever.
Right, and so in this case, our lure is when someone seeks out the hidden magic of the city or meets one of the fated, they gain a token. So the fated they used to be elementals like us, but they've completely lost all of their magic, right? Yeah. So
Are they basically like humans now? And like,
ooh, do we want that to be the case? Like, do we want like, I feel do we want it to be the point where they're humans and they've forgotten that they used to be elementals and now they think that they're just humans, or are they hiding and pretending that they're humans? What do we think? I mean, it could be both, but
I have a dark idea for that.
yeah.
What if they're not? So I love the idea of like they're reduced down to like a state. I like the idea of them still being elementals because that the corp can be hunting them down to figure out how they tick in accordance with their other drives.
Nice.
I really like that too. I have a question in that case about mortality, because that's one of the corp's desires to achieve immortality. Are elementals immortal, or slash like have a longer lifespan than like quote unquote regular humans? I mean, but it's cyberpunk because people are augmented. But
yeah, for sure. So the idea is we used to be completely immortal, and so like it's only just recently that we started dying out because like they've used the last of our magic basically, and our magic is dying. Right. So you can have characters that have lived for like centuries. I've had campaigns where someone had memories from before the corp came, right? So you can be that long lived, or you can be like one of the younger elementals. That's totally fine.
Cool.
But yeah, but the idea is like elementals normally live for centuries, and humans, like, I mean, the rich ones can live for a long time, but it's nowhere near as close, like nowhere close to centuries.
Cool. And how are elementals made?
Ooh, so the elementals are like basically all of the original beings and creatures of myth and legend. So they're like really connected to the earth. So it's connected to the original concept of Valhalla, which is like how we saw ourselves before, but basically like we are all one entity, right? And each of us is just like an expression of that same source of magic and light and life, basically. So the Dewata were just naturally created to regulate the energy. The Santelmo were just naturally created to like guide the dead. But yeah, good questions though. Awesome.
Cool.
And we can change any of this, by the way. Like if someone wants to say something else, we can tweak this as we like. So, but I just like giving everyone a baseline instead of throwing people into the deep end.
Totally.
Yeah. Awesome. Good questions. Yeah, and then so with that note, so instead of choosing a desire, we choose a path. And this is like, the idea is like, this is the path that magic will go on unless we bring about the rebirth of magic. So this is where it's headed, right? And this is what we're hopefully trying to stop. But this is like the tendency of magic right now. So our choices are human dependence. These are not going to be nice choices, by the way. Okay, so human dependence and peaceful oblivion, entropy, painfully reshape elementals, fiery apocalypse, rewrite humanity, ascension in a new realm, or to be unshackled.
Wow.
They're very intense. So this is why we have to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peaceful oblivion ties in a lot with freedom from pain, which I kind of like.
Oh, that's so sad. I love it.
Right? But it's like this kind of like almost self-destructive. Well, this is the way the world is, and then then we end it.
Ooh.
Like,
and different
yeah.
figures have different opinions on what that means to end it, and what peaceful oblivion actually is. Oh, I like that. I like that.
I really like that.
Yeah. Just writing that down before I forget. Okay. Yeah, cool. I like that a lot. And what would we like to choose to play with that idea of peaceful oblivion?
I mean, painfully reshape elementals seems like it would.
As in to better like serve that peaceful oblivion.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna type that. Elementals are shaped better served. Yeah, I really like that. And so like the faded elementals, or there's some elementals that have been reshaped profoundly by their magic, right? So you can just sort of tell by looking at them.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, yeah, this is so good, y'all. You're like making such good stuff. So the GM moves are bleed magic and disrupt the machine, plunge everyone into a synthetic world of mayhem, describe what magic demands, describe the beauty and power of chaos, and reveal a part of the city through magic, or damage a part of the city with wild magic. Right. So basically, this is very likely to happen if if you choose as a player to use any of your elemental magic with consequence. Basically, like this is one of the likely outcomes, right? So, but we'll talk a bit about that later once we get to play. All right, and so those are our desires for our setting elements. I'll be using them as the GM to like push and pull. So we're caught between these three things: the enslave, the corp, and our magic, right? Or the magic in its current state. So the last thing that we're going to work on today is we're going to create our haven. And so the other stuff, like basically there are other parts of the city we can access, like the market, the sensorium, the lab, but we started the haven, right? So we've been here for a little while. You can also decide which of your NPCs also live here in the haven. That would be really cool. Like if you want to pick one and like either they hang out or they live there at the haven, that's also totally cool. So basically what we do is we choose a leader of the haven. So this is someone who tends to the day-to-day tasks or is the voice of the people here at the haven. And then we choose 2 to 3 aesthetics that helps us sort of like get an idea for what our haven is like. And then from there, we also have to choose 1 to 2 threats. So these are things that can like come in and disrupt what's going on in Haven, or things that are inherently true about it that are dangerous. But yeah, and so I put this in because almost every game of Balikbayan I started with people wanted to describe the Haven anyway to begin with, so now it's just mechanically.
Nice.
I just put it in there. So.
What do you want to do? Base building! Fair,
like people,
honestly.
Right, because people are like, we're on the run, but I need a home. I was like, oh, okay. So we will do that. But yeah, so taking a look, and we can make choices now, and then we can change things if you feel like we want a different combination. But so our choices for a leader is Sabotage, an android who carries the collective consciousness of fallen colony warriors. Giga, a former Corp executive who was quotation mark killed and discarded. I mean, we have a Santelmo here and a Swang, so he might have had something to do with it, or even one of the little gods. And then we also have Risu, Tigbalang with most of their magic withered away, so definitely on the verge of fading. Or Zayn, a child prophet. Right, so you can see how each leader will like give Haven like a different color, right? So which one are we like super excited about and drawn to?
All of yes? Can I say all?
Yeah, can they all be characters?
Yeah, even if only one of them can be the leader, can everyone else be there?
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
I will
can we
do
have
that
like
for
a
all.
kind of like a council, leader council?
Yeah, like a collective
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah,
All
yeah,
four
yeah.
of them is our answer.
Yeah. That's kind of cool though, actually. The idea that all 4 of them, yeah, and maybe like the Haven, one of the issues is like they can't always all agree, or
Yo.
yeah. Is there
There's like 4 factions, I don't know, and like they're loyal to different leaders.
I dig it. That's cool. Yeah.
Sure. I will do that for you. The more NPCs you give me, the more happy I am. Essentially, if I'm gonna be honest.
Yes.
Good.
Like I heard someone was like, "Oh, I don't like doing NPCs as a GM," and I'm like,
That's the fun part.
yeah, you get to be all these people. But I mean, different strengths for different folks. But yeah. All right, and then so let's choose 2 to 3 aesthetics. I kind of like the idea of each of us choosing one, and then building up Haven from that. So our choices are, and once again, we can just make up stuff, right? Like I'm very happy if you feel like making up stuff. These are just a baseline. So graffiti that responds to nearby thoughts. Heavy wires full of crackling sound giving off sparks, brightly colored shanties full of music and the smell of food, a small marketplace full of scavenged and the discarded, illegal shrines with mundane objects made holy and sacred, weapons of war made into furniture and dwellings, mutated flora and fauna of bioluminescent colors, corp machinery repurposed to serve the haven, small restaurants filled with noise and laughter, and something else that fills us with hope. So this is like our little corner of Haven. I'd love to ask, Ting, is there something that's like that you're really drawn to that excites you?
The graffiti and then graffiti as response to nearby thoughts.
Yeah, cool.
Also,
Okay.
like, I mean, any of the food ones.
We are truly Asian. The food is very important.
Any places where people and food can gather. You know, that thing we used to be able to do.
Oof.
It's so true. I haven't been to a restaurant in
So mad.
like a year plus. So it's true. It's true. We can live out our fantasies here. That's what this game is for. So
Good.
let's have graffiti that responds to nearby thoughts. Oh yeah, because someone has a hollow artist as an NPC, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So maybe they're like one of the graffiti artists. That would be super cool. Just a total coincidence. I can pretend I did that on purpose. Like there are things that connect in the game. Just total coincidence. And then let's choose the small restaurants. That's really cute. I really like that idea. Like those little like stalls or like those places where like they're just like a few seats, a few
market streets. Yeah.
Yeah, like the
yeah.
seats are like the stools that you pull and it
Yeah.
drags on the ground and makes that scratching sound. Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah, perfect, right. And then you have like people who know, like the moment you show up, they're just like, all right, they start working the order before you sit down. Right?
Yup.
But yeah, all right. And then so let's see, Connie, like is there one that you were like super drawn to?
I am super drawn to the mutated flora and fauna.
Yes.
They're really messed up. Like
I really
a
like
fucked
that
up
one
deer.
too.
Yeah.
So good. And in combination with the restaurants, like, oh yeah, this looks edible, you know.
Like it's like made from like two-headed tortoise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like the psychic visions end after like a few seconds, you know. So
Yep.
okay, perfect. So we'll have that. And then our last choice is haven threats, right? So these are things that we could potentially have to deal with. So our options, once again, we can make up new ones. The haven rests on a fault line of chaos magic. Memory hunters stalk the vulnerable. Nearby gangs want our territory. Corp broadcasts invade our psychic privacy and seek information. So real. Anyway, hollow. Like I was just thinking about this. Hollow ghosts haunt us, seeking something we cannot give, which does connect to our Santamo, who's trying to lay violent spirits to rest, so we can have that. Corp spies send information back to their masters, or something else that threatens our safety. Like, so I guess, Agatha, do you want like the spirits you have to lay to rest to be like here even in Haven, or do you want it to be like something that happens outside of Haven?
I feel like I kind of want Haven to be a haven, so I would like at least the ones that are violent to be not here. So
Right, we can just have sad hollow ghosts, you know.
It's true.
In Haven.
no violence, just sadness.
Just sadness, just sad stalking, right? but yeah, anyway, but we still have plenty of choices. John, which one were you drawn to?
I love the idea that like Haven itself doesn't necessarily like it in it of itself doesn't have the problems per se, but I do want to keep memory hunters. So I think what I'd rather do is invert it so that the vulnerable, like those who've been preyed on by memory hunters, can seek shelter in Haven, so that we know they're out there, but Haven is a place for them too. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I like that. Right. And so like, We know that there are those that are trying to get in, but for the most part, we're also a haven for those who've had their memories taken. Yeah, cool. So, which brings me to a question: like, why do people hunt for memories? What do they do with them? Right? Are they currency? Are they? Oh, go ahead.
So my thought, because you mentioned, because further down the line on this document, so where people can see it, is the sensorium. You can find everything and everything there. Holodreams obviously provide a number of tools of distraction and pleasure. What I'm thinking is memory hunters make their living selling happy memories to be used as things that people can buy and experience for themselves. So it's kind of like the weirdest form of like emotional tourism, right? Like if you have a lot of money, anything happy or sad or awful or whatever you can buy for entertainment off of somebody else that didn't probably part with it nicely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of like the idea that that in order for the product to work, it has to be taken from the person, right? Like it's because you can tell if it's just like an echo, it's not quite the same thing. It's not as visceral.
Yeah,
right?
so it's like the echo. Like I think maybe that's the way you differentiate. Like if you record the memory, it's very clearly like a third person kind of recording. But if you take it, it's like a first person full sensory experience, and that's why it's so prized. Is because you can go in 100% and feel everything someone felt, and at the end of the day, be like, "That was nice," and then go off and do something else.
Now I'm wondering which one of these is like, is it both illegal? Or is one of these legal and the other one not? Or you know what I mean? Because if like the kind that you can just get as like a photocopy almost, like that's the legal kind. But if you want that like hardcore shit, then you're like, nah, you gotta
Give
go.
me that uncut ecstasy, like literally uncut ecstasy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So I don't know. I wonder if that's kind of like, but also if you have the means and the power,
Right.
like the legality doesn't really matter.
Realness.
Oof.
Realness.
yeah.
Yeah. So true. So true. Yeah.
Oh, now I really want there to be like an NPC who willingly gives up their memories for like money. And they're like, all these happy memories. I mean, everyone I love is dead anyway. So here, have the rest of them. At least I can live out the rest of my life in blissful ignorance of what I've lost.
Oh, tie. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, chat just said that this would tie into
So-
peaceful oblivion, and yeah.
So
that
good,
makes sense.
good job sniping the idea I had for my PC. Because okay, so actually, I think since we touched on it, I think it's gonna be super cool. I'm just gonna talk about it because it's session 0, folks. You can tell your playgroup what you're planning, and they can see it happen later. That's what's cool about this.
Yeah.
What I've been thinking. So one of the things that I love, and the question that I've chosen for my connection, going back to that, is you knew me before I became a saint. What was I, and why is it our secret to never tell? So I've been thinking that what ends up happening is the character before they became I think they didn't start as a saint. I think I've been thinking like since we've been talking about sort of forging elementals artificially, they were one of those, and before that they sold their memories to try to survive, and the price for using their magic, because so now they have no idea who they are, which is why they have a name that doesn't matter to them. The price for using their magic is they're regaining their memories one at a time and finding out who they were before they became this person that they are now.
Oh, that's so fucking tragic.
Wow. I love it. I'm all here for it. Yes, I also forgot to do the connections. We're going to do that right after this.
We're gonna be so excited.
Good.
I mean, I can pretend I did it on purpose. No, we're going to leave that for the last part.
That's fair.
But yeah, I love that so much.
Yeah.
I love the idea of like the price is regaining the memory. That is just so good. Perfect.
I want to
Alright.
find out how awful or great I was prior, and I don't care which one. Both are great.
I was gonna say, is it ever gonna be you were great before you lost your memories?
Well, I mean, it could be, right? Because like, imagine if the person who was there was really cool, and the person now is absolutely not that.
Oh
person.
yeah. Also,
Right? Like,
Also
there's a lot
true.
of really cool. Like, either way, you can play it. I think.
So true. So good.
Anyways,
Alright.
I LARP to lose. So
Perfect. But yeah, so we have our memory hunters. Do we want to stick to just that one thread, or did we want to add like another one?
I had an idea for which one is that? The CORP broadcast invader psychic privacy and seek information. I think like they're not gonna like find the haven. I think this is something that's blasted to like throughout the neighborhood. They're almost kind of like spam ads. And maybe some of them are created from like memory. So you'd just be sitting in a room and being like, all right, cool, I'm having a day. And then you just get this ad for like, you're suddenly the room's like transformed to like a beach, and they're selling this like, oh, vacation to, you know, this one little not ruined corner of paradise, and it's using memories from like back when beaches were a thing. And something like that. And maybe there might be some bots hidden in the ads trying to like find elementals. But unless
all right, we've just weaponized intrusive thoughts as malware. That's wild. That being said, as a person who like does therapy for academics, this is dope. Continue.
Yeah, that was basically like the pitch of that. If
Yeah.
I love that. I want that. Put it in, please.
Awesome. Perfect. I love that idea so much. And I feel like the graffiti could like push back against that, right? Like maybe that's why the hollow artists do it. They're trying to disrupt the flow of what the broadcast.
Maybe when like you get the malware if you're in the street and you buy that graffiti, the graffiti will write itself over like the projection, so that like when you're standing there on this beach, there's just like a glowing neon something floating in midair, and you're like, okay, something's up. Hold on a minute.
Just like a middle finger that's just like floating over
the
water.
You're just like, and then like and that gives you like the hold on, okay, all right, enough of the speech. Yep, we're here. Yep.
Perfect. I love that. I love how it's all coming together. Yeah. All right. Awesome. So that's basically, yeah. Oh. See, I almost forgot again. What connects us? We're gonna do that. So let's go back in. I feel like I want to start with our saint though, because we, you did bring up the amazing connected. No. It's totally cool. So Leandra doesn't always go first, because that's a probably character keeper order. So yeah, the question first is the little gods gather around someone whispering their name in prayer. So who among us do you think is that person?
Well, there's conveniently 4 other players, and so I have this D4 over here.
Nice.
2, 3, 4. That is all right. That is the Aswang, which I think is really dope.
Oh my god.
That's
Hell
terrifying.
Fucking yes.
I love that. Also, full disclosure, like, Kai and I are both from Boston. This is wild. Stop that, D4. Knock that off.
The Boston connection.
Yeah, it's
amazing.
This is great. I think, yeah, I'm down with that if you're down with that.
Oh, sorry, you're muted.
I'm absolutely down with that.
Cool.
All right, and then so what happens next is basically our saint asks the Aswang the question, and the Aswang answers, right? But you feel to like negotiate and
yeah.
So John / Xander, do you feel like does Xander know, because your whole thing is that you're like recovering your memories, right?
Yeah.
So if my character knows I'm wondering like what that negotiation looks like.
Ooh. So I mean, I think what it is if I think what we'll do as for our negotiation is it is our secret to never tell, because I can't tell it, and so because I don't know what it is, right? Like I knew, but I don't know anymore. And so part of it is, why aren't you telling me? I think is the crux of the fun there.
Oh Jesus, yeah. So I think.
Yeah.
Ooh, to answer that, I kind of feel like I have to know who you are now.
Yeah.
To like think of who you were before, because I want it to be very different.
Cool.
So
cool.
Could you tell me a little bit about like Xander's like personality, like stuff like that?
Yeah, Xander is like Xander is based on the idea of my frustration with the Christian church. Xander is a person who believes in their faith very, very strongly, but accepts that that's not the faith for everyone. But if they have something to believe in, that is something they can respect. So they're okay. Thank you. Cool. I nailed it. Great. Beautiful. And so their entire thing is trying to it's kind of similar to one of the hopes is to teach others to be their own gods. And I think for Xander, it's the actual goal is to teach them that you don't need to be a god to affect the world around you, which is kind of, again, it's a little hypocritical coming from, you know, the saint in that way. But they truly believe that you don't need to consider yourself special. You don't need to have been born with like power to make differences. And I think they're chasing the hole in their own heart by trying to fill it by bringing peace to other people. Is kind of where they're at now.
Cool. I have 2 ideas.
Cool.
One is that you were a colonizing missionary. And the other one is that you were a murderous cultist.
Ooh.
For like who
yes, I love yes. Can we do yes? Can we combine all of those? I love that.
A missionary who created cults.
Or like a cult leader or something. Like that is another idea. Like you could like try to like mesh the two. And, you know, I'm changing Lash's name to Grist, just so everyone's on the same page. And I feel like Grist would have been like, I'm not gonna tell you that, buddy. Like,
yeah, that's
like,
super reasonable.
Yeah.
I think. Okay. So again, if we're extrapolating a teeny bit, right? What if their faith was capitalism? And what if they were a corp? What if they were corp and their faith was, you know, it wasn't like profit. I don't think profit is what they would have believed in, but it's the idea that it's the true belief that they were making a better place for people, even though it was so short-sighted that they weren't really considering the loss of people who didn't fit in that world once they were done making it better. Yeah,
we could also definitely go with like a capitalist too, like as a capitalism as a religion. Profit the prophet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The prophet of profit. Yeah, that's very good.
Maybe that was like your tagline. The ShamWow guy, but
oh my god.
Okay.
Oh god, love that. Cool. Yeah, that could work.
Cool.
Also,
absolutely.
I'm down with that. I need to write that down.
Don't tell them that.
Nope.
That's good.
And so, like, I wonder, Chris, does it connect to why you want to rewrite your painful memories? Like, did you used to work together? Did you used to like help them out?
Oh yeah. Oof, that's really interesting. Yeah, how did I know you? I like the idea that I was maybe your like I worked for you, and I was maybe like your like enforcer, or like your like blood dog that you sent to like rip out the throats of like your competitors, or like people who, you know, who like spoke out against you.
Good. Yes.
So I was like, I don't want you to know, because you're gonna hate me too. So.
Good. Suffering. We love it. Yeah, I'm so down for that. For sure.
Awesome.
Perfect.
And like when I saw you reincarnated, I was just did like the like the lunchroom, like I don't know you.
I don't know them.
Yeah.
Which is hysterical because I absolutely don't know you yet.
Yes. Okay, I like that.
Oh my gosh.
That.
And then as you regain memories, they'll be like
you're gonna like see me in your memories.
Yep. Be like, sorry, what is happening here?
Okay, I love that. Yes.
Good.
So good. Perfect. Wow. All right. And so I think we'll move to Grist. You can there's someone you protect and you hope that they'll never be afraid of you. And then ask them one of their questions. Yeah, take your time, because I know you're taking notes of like.
Oh yeah, no worries.
All this drama.
Okay, I protect someone and I hope they'll never be afraid of me. Let's see what would make sense here. I feel like I already have a relationship with Xander. Who feels like they need protection between Yasmiria? Is it Ting? How do you pronounce your character's name? Kirsan. Okay, Kirsan and Mary. Who feels the most like human-like? I feel like Mary. I feel like maybe Mary.
Yeah, because like Mary's like not even fully here anymore, like not even fully alive anymore, right? Maybe there's like that last flickering life. But what do you think for Mary, Agatha?
Great. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Mary. So I protect Mary, and I hope Mary will never be afraid of me. And my question is, you asked me to make you an aswang like me, but I refused. Why did I, and why won't I ever make you one?
Oh no, we lost you.
I can't really hear what you're saying, Agatha.
Speaking
mic is cursed,
from beyond the
apparently.
veil,
Yeah.
from the other side.
Microphone is as cursed as the character.
Yeah.
That's so into
That's
character.
good.
You're very faint.
So quiet.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, we're back.
There
We're
we
back.
go.
Wait, are we back? Are we back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back?
You're just quite low.
Wait, am I?
But
still
we can
really
at least
quiet?
hear you.
I don't know what's happening, y'all. It's the ghost in the machine. It's the core. It's the core.
There it is, the CORP.
Okay. Yeah. How do I sound?
Yeah, better,
Good.
but yeah.
Okay. Oh, what was the question?
The question is, Mary asked Grist to make Marion a swan like Grist, but Grist refused. Why did she, and why won't she ever make you one?
Well, do you like being in a swamp?
Absolutely the fuck not. No, I don't think
Hard
so.
question. Like,
I don't think so. But it's all that Grist knows how to be.
So I think you care about me. That's why. And
yeah. So,
oh, go ahead.
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I don't know. We must know each other in some way before we all became our current way of living, our way of being. And maybe you wanted me to live a different life, but I don't know. But the interesting question is, I also am now walking a different path, and I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, so do you think you asked me to make you an Aswang before you gained your powers? Before you became an elemental?
Yeah.
Okay, like when you were still human?
I think so, yeah. And then I died.
Uh-huh.
And
Oh yeah.
and then somewhere through that I became something else.
Okay. Yep, I like that. What do you think? How did you think we knew each other? Oh, was I okay? This is kind of fucked up. Was I maybe one of the people like were you maybe the only person I ever spared while working for a Xander?
I was thinking it'd be
Like,
I'll add one to that. What if
Yes,
we're
please.
related?
Oh God,
Good.
we're like siblings. You think?
Yeah. So
Okay,
then
that's painful.
So then that's also why you spared me, right?
Ooh.
Like the hit came out for like my sister,
Yeah.
Ooh. Shit. Ooh.
and
Wait
maybe
a second.
I even begged
Damn.
Xander not to, but you were like,
So here's a thought, right? Because like I was thinking about the one like discrepancy I found in the thing that I was talking about is like if I had this much stuff, why did I start selling memories? What if when that hit came out, we got into a fight and you wrecked my shit, and that way and I fell, and that's why I ended up selling memories and then became what I was later. Like once you lost track of me because I had vanished.
by wreck your shit, do you mean like I destroyed your assets? Like
No, I mean
destroy-
like
or,
wreck every like blew up everything I had, including like all of my stuff and or me. Like like it was just a whole bad day.
Okay, I like that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Please, I love that noise.
Your true form is a building.
Yes, my true form is a structure.
What
This
if-
is true.
Yeah. What if it looks like my old building?
Oh my God. Yeah, because that would be the site of trauma. That
Yeah.
would be like the
Oh,
body is
that's-
a place.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, all right, cool. I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
I like that. Mary, how do you think you died? Was it in that explosion? Did I kill you by accident? Did I do I have your
Oh,
blood on my
yeah.
hands?
Maybe
you want
Mary
to?
came to try to stop you, and then
This is like so many connections, like so many backstories all tied together. I am pro. I'm for that. How do you feel about that, Agatha?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. If you want that extreme angst, I am here to support you in your extreme angst.
Let's do. I mean, I'm the freaking blood demon. Let's do it.
Okay.
Anyways, this is now a game of Pasión de las Pasiones.
Yeah, so
I love that
I probably heard, or I I don't know. Yeah, I heard or found out in some way. Like I saw like a blueprint, and I was like, oh no, my sib. And so
So good, so good.
I was too late.
And I kind of like the idea because of who you're bonded to, a human that tried to save you. So a human who tried to stop, like protect you from your sibling, right? Like they knew what was up.
Yeah, so they're also probably tied in some way to Grist.
Yeah, they're all caught up in this too.
Yes,
Ooh.
trying to stop me from going to that building, or like to like go after me or something like that.
Oh, can we make them your ex-lover who refused to become
This
a swan like you?
It's
So
the
just
same
the same person.
Okay, hold on. I need to make there's like a love square going on here. I need to make sure I have all the
Love square?
like a love hate square. Wait, how
Love
does
Now, Hearts of Woolen. Okay, but anyway, yes.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, so the person. So I still asked Mary. Wait, Mary still asked me to become a. Wait, hold on. So what's going on? I'm a little confused.
Okay, so
Okay.
before all of this, I was like,
Yes.
yo, Sib, like I need your powers because for whatever reason, we'll probably establish that later. And then you were like, nah. And then so that's aside. And then later on, I forgot the name already. Whoever Xanther,
yeah.
Xander, sorry. Whoever Xander was before was like trying to put that hit on your sis, and then you were like, nah. And then your way of saying nah was to plan a way to take Xander down. And I found out, and I was like, oh no, I need to stop you. So then I like am like running to the site where they live, where you set everything up, and then apparently your ex was like, no, you can't. I mean, I don't know what the situation is. Like, did they already find out? Like, were they trying to stop me before I got there, or were they at the site and then they saw me like as I'm like laying there bleeding out or whatever and tried to save me then? But then that, I guess, caused a rift between you two. I think where Jammi was going with this.
Oh, I like that. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that. It could be interesting if the ex was like a doctor or something, and everybody knows that I lose control,
works.
And they're like, your recklessness killed your sister, and I can't be with someone who just lets their anger and their rage take control or something like that. Like, it could be very straightforward anger management sort of situation going on here.
True.
Great. Then I feel like I have a good grasp on what connects us. Cool. Let me just write these notes down. I feel like I'm all set.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. And then so we'll move on to Mary's question. So someone here, aside from you, died and went to Sulad, which is like the underworld, the other side, right? But against all odds, they somehow returned to the land. I feel this could be Xander, but anyway, it could also be Ting or.
Not everything has to be me. It's fine.
Or Ismaria. But basically, someone died, went to Sulad. They came back and asked them, like, oh, I love the question you chose. That's like my favorite question of the Sentinel.
Yeah, the question that I chose, is, what dark and sad secret do we share? How would it doom our rebellion? And the person that I would like to pose this question to is Maria.
Of course, Leandra, the expert on sad and dark. So
I know.
Yeah,
I feel like I have a lot
called out.
I was gonna say I have a lot to live up to after what we just witnessed. The entangled sadness that is the other three. Meanwhile, me and Ting over there in the corner being like,
Like, what the hell? What is wrong with
I
you?
try to think how do I get in all this.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, join in
Absolutely,
our
get in
web
on it.
of sadness. Yeah, so what's dark and sad secret do we share? How would it doom our rebellion? What do you think? Like, I feel like this probably has to do with the motivation of like our magic, right? Tying back to like the peaceful oblivion, and then also the remaking, what is it, painfully reshape elementals thing. I feel like that's one of our That's the secret that we share. That sucks.
Yeah. What if I didn't always used to be a tikbalang? What if we both know how the magic is painfully reshaping elementals? And it involves because apparently I died.
We both died,
like
apparently.
We both died, yes. Yeah.
We sat on the same bus. No, yeah.
Well, no, we know how you died.
True.
Yeah. So, but I returned to land of the living, and you end up being a Sant Elmo. So I think maybe I didn't become a tikbalang until after I died. Maybe I was something else, and because Sant Elmo, at least from what I remember, they're kind of like they're ones like who shepherd like ghosts or like connections to them, and so maybe you knew me as just a ghost.
Oh.
Yeah, just a different kind of element on exactly tikbalang, and maybe I used to be a duende, that sort of thing.
Right.
And you were witness to, maybe you saw me being reshaped by the magic.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, I'm proof that this works, or at least this does happen. And that involves going into the afterlife. Because, when you're dead, your slate is clean, apparently.
Right. But why is that? Why is this dark and sad? And why does it doom our rebellion, right?
Ooh, okay.
Did you lose something? Are you something completely... You're just not who you were before?
Yeah, I think so. Because right now, my character is tikbalang is like a patchwork of so many different things. I think I used to be solidly... Maybe I used to be solidly someone you know. You know what? Let's keep tying these things together.
Hey.
Yeah. I like this idea. And then so like the magic took you and like reformed and reshaped you, but and so like magic can make you more powerful, but like the cost is high. Right?
Yeah, basically maybe the only person who actually remembers who I was is you, Mary.
Oh.
So you have to hold that.
Right. Are you like pieces of various people or identities?
Yeah, I think so.
You were melded into because they were all disparate because you were all dying. So then what I do is, as the flame, I lead you all to each other until there's enough of you to become something else.
Yeah, and maybe you led who I was into this gestalt, this form, and you thought this seems like a cool place, but turns out no, I'm whoever I was is now gone. You led me to this state of being.
So
sorry, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, just one more question. Your hope is to reunite with a family member who escaped to the city. Is this a family member? Is this actually your family member, or is this the family member of your like this new identity that you have? You're like, oh yes, this person is my family, but it's not actually before. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's not from. Yeah, I get you. It's like it's whoever I was now after the reforming. Maybe it's just someone I think is a family member. It's like maybe when I was reformed, I popped like, oh, I have this completely different life, and maybe this family member doesn't even consider me a family member.
Yeah,
extra sad. I knew Leandra could walk that. I knew they would end up there. And if I could suggest, because like, how could it doom the rebellion? Could we say that the CORP witnessed what Mary did in order to reform you, and so now they have that knowledge?
Oh,
like now they're figuring out how they can meld while they're rewriting the laws of magic, right? To erase your identities, basically. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Right. And so yeah. So and then we'll move on to, I think we should be able to finish everything in 50 more minutes, but I just want to check in how everybody's doing, if we're still okay, or do we need to take a short break?
Yeah.
Cool. But just let me know. at any time. Yeah, and then so for our tikbalang, the question is.
I changed it from the previous one because I accidentally answered it. Uh,
Nice, nice. Makes sense, makes sense. Oh yeah, that's right. You did amazing. Anyway,
I get to answer both.
you get to answer both. Very cool. So you see echoes of this person in the spirit realm. Their digital reflections contradict who they are in the physical world. Who do you think that is?
I think that's Krisan, for sure, because I kind of feel like Krisan feels like, because they're Dewata, they're chaotic. If that makes sense, Ting.
Yeah.
At least definitely like I think I just scrolled way too far. In the spirit realm, I think maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but in the physical world, you're this, like, what did you describe it? A autostereogram. Oh, that's really cool. Maybe in the spirit realm, which is where I guess I access all these animal spirits and memories. I think it is a contradiction. You're something a bit more defined in the spirit realm, at least from my perspective. I don't know if it's true or not. Yeah. Reject any fruits that you don't feel is good for you. You know. But my question is, what great social debt do I owe you, and why can I never repay you? I love to owe Dewata social debt. We can never be repaid.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that kind of means you're better at the socializing than I am. Do you think like this happened when we used to be in the core, or this is like at the Haven?
Maybe when we used to be in the core.
Yeah.
I was thinking, Christine, they would be sort of keep to themselves a little bit. I'm not sure how to answer it.
That's fair. We can like get a second answer to the other question if you want, because I don't want to make it seem like because this question just kind of assume that you would have, at least at that moment, better at socializing than I am. But the other question, if you like, is, you're the only one who's seen my original form. Well, one of them, I guess. What does it look like, and why is it our secret?
Maybe the original.
Oh, the original form. Yeah, the form that you were before you were.
Yeah. Maybe like
maybe I've seen you seen what you were before you were Tikbalan.
Yeah. Maybe because we established with Agatha's character that, like, she let this all host of other spirits come together. Maybe you were on the CORP side. You're watching. You're kind of like seeing them see this, and you saw my like most original kind of like form. God, I have too many forms. How did this happen?
So do you not like other people seeing your, or like knowing about your forms, Maria? Or
yeah, I think I like the idea of me being patchwork, but I don't like the idea that there's like an original form. I'm many formed. The idea that there's like one original form where I came from, I don't think I like that.
Yeah, could I make a suggestion? Do you think like maybe you were a duende that helped build the enslavement protocols, and that's why you don't like who you used to be? I mean, I'm just throwing that out there.
That's
you know,
man.
just 'cause I
That
know you
could
landed.
tie you in too, especially if we worked together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe Chris. Maybe Chris is the only one who like truly knows like the identity of that duende. Because like to Mary, I'm just someone who died.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I'm tied to like two different secrets. One is the reshaping elementals, and the other one is that I helped build. Oh my god.
Good.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Okay, and then so I think we have just enough time for the last question. So our Dewata, Kristen, the land whispers someone's name and the sky dreams of them. Ask them one of these questions. So who do you think is like connected to the land in some way, even if they're not aware of it? Right.
That's probably either Yasmiria or Xander.
Yeah, I feel like that makes sense.
So did you say either Ismiria or Xander?
Yeah.
I think it's super cool if it's Xander.
Is it pre-Saint or post-Saint Xander though?
Oh, wow. that's such a good question.
Hey, that's like right.
Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, I kind of like that. That's such a good question.
Yeah.
That I feel like we should answer like as we play. Like I feel like that's such a good, like who is the land connected to, right? Do they seek out who you were before, or are they trying to mold who you are now, right? Like good stuff.
Yeah, I kind of love that. Or maybe it's both. Maybe they're divided. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's also good. Cool. All right. So you have a question to answer.
Yeah. So that's, I guess, again, second question, right? Because it's which version of me saw your full power, and which version of me did you destroy something precious of, right? Because I think that's the big question, right? Because like if it's
Ooh,
I don't know.
Yeah, what do you think, Tim?
Did I destroy your CORP?
Ooh, maybe Grist's plan involved you.
Yeah, maybe.
What a heist!
Yeah, many. Yeah.
the water and the swag come in, just whoosh, like
yeah.
fuck shit up.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I kind of like that though, because like you technically destroyed that connection, that memory. Yeah, I really like that though. Yeah, what do y'all think?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. That sounds great.
I'm down with that.
Awesome. So we have all our knives, all our angst, all our super good. Yeah, and then so we will jump into this next week. We'll start off in the Haven, and I'll introduce more of the rules. But like I said, it's a very open narrative system. It's a really interesting.
It's back.
It just didn't.
It doesn't want the string to end. That's
yeah. The destruction of the land.
Yep.
All right, we're nearly
Yeah.
there.
I think the stream can still hear it. I think.
Is it?
Oh no,
You might need to mute it in OBS. Yeah. Oh no! Jesus Christ! Oh no!
She is Lucy.
Okay, okay.
Oh,
Cool.
Lordy.
But chat, can you hear us while our Santelmo like Right. Can chat hear us? Yeah. Okay. Everybody. Hello. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll bring us to an end. But yeah, so for everybody who hung out with us, watched and listened, thank you so much. This is a lot of fun. I'm so happy with this group. They're just absolutely amazing. I loved what everyone came up with. So I think this is a good time for all of us to like talk about where you can find us, what projects we're working on, and say goodbye to everybody. So I'll go ahead and start. So my name is Jammi. I use they, them pronouns. And you can find me on Twitter at Temporal Hiccup. You can also find me on itch.io at Temporal Hiccup. Balikbayan is one of the games I have in development. Another one is Apocalypse Keys, which is based on Hellboy and the films and the comics. So that was also a lot of fun. But I have a lot of other smaller games. Like I have about I think it's like 40 games. But I promise I'm slowing down. I'm really slowing down. Like it's only been one every few months lately. So
Now it's only
so
like 39.
Yeah. But yeah, and you can follow me. You can support me on Patreon if you want to see the games I'm working on. I'm working on a social political intrigue, high magic one that's Forged in the Dark too. So that's a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's me. That's Jammi. And then next, let's go with Leandro. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at lpondoc. That's LPONDOC, which should be pronounced Pondoc. But that's on me. I don't have much to plug other than more details next week. But I'm helping organize a charity live stream with the folks at a server called Roll Plus Bond. You can follow them on Twitter at Roll Plus Bond. This is like a second charity live stream, basically. From it's the last weekend of February, from the 26th to the 28th, non-stop role-playing games. I'll figure out what I need to find out what the time is. I'll tell you about that next week. And the actual charity we're supporting is we're still pulling our community as to who to support, but it's gonna be a fab time.
Awesome. Thanks, Leandro. And yeah, I'd love to hear. Ting, where can we find you, and what are you up to?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at TingTut. All my other links are there. HIO, Twitch, Instagram. Can't really say what I'm working on, but Tuesdays I play in a Risk campaign on Nerds with Dice. And yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Very cool. And Connie, if you could tell us about you and where to find you.
Absolutely. Hey everyone, I'm Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. I will be playing the asshole grist next week. You can find me when I'm not doing that this on Saturdays at 3 p.m. US Central Time, being the GM and executive producer behind Transplanar RPG, which is an all transgender, people of color led, 100% homebrew Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition live stream actual play campaign set in an original non-colonial anti-Orientalist world. And we just kicked off Arc 2. We'd love to have you join us for episode 5 this Saturday. Big plot things happening, but you don't have to know what's going on to hop right in. And yeah, you can find me on Twitter at @byConnieChong. My free time, little free time that I do have, I like to do some screenwriting, poetry, and I like to nerd out about powerlifting and strength training. So hit me up for any of those things. And yeah, that is my introduction.
Nice. Thanks so much, Connie. And John, where can we find you? Sorry, you muted.
That's cool.
Took you.
No. That's what I get for invoking it with the voice mod. So I'm John. You can find me on Twitter at Rymasa, RY0MASA. Someone else has the one with the O in it. I'm very mad. But that's all right. I, again, will be on this stream Wednesday, 7 to 9 p.m. EST, playing the absolute shitbag of a person, Xander. which is going to be super exciting. As well as on Thursdays at 8 p.m. EST over on Unmade Gaming for the Expanse RPG Entanglement. Our second episode of the season drops, I believe, tomorrow. Fingers crossed, knocking on wood. We've had that show is the Scottish play of TTRPG streams I've been on so far. Just always something is happening. And then you can find me on on my Twitter. I talk a lot about mental health and gaming, especially using tabletop RPGs as therapeutic tools in clinical mental health counseling. That's part of what my graduate degree and my thesis was on, and that's what I do.
Yeah, awesome. And I will talk about Agatha. So you can find Agatha on Twitter. Please, y'all follow her on Twitter, which is at Mighty Shrimp. Agatha put everything together. I'm so excited to be here. Agatha is part of the Asians Represent, one of the amazing co-hosts, and because of Agatha's support, that's our role here playing Balikbayan together. So thank you so much, Agatha, our Sentamo, who is fighting the CORP and stream demons right now. So getting ready for next week. But for everybody else, thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to see you next week. And you can expect this video on demand, I think, at some point. But yeah, so we'll let you know more. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night.